Hey, how are you doing? My name is Loren Ferguson, and I've been blessed to be a part of the Grace Community Worship Team now for the last couple of months. And it's an honor to be able to share a quick devotional with you for this week. Um, the title of today's devotion is How We Treat Others. Pretty simple. Before we get into that, I just want to read from Romans 12, verses 10 and 11. It's Paul talking to the Romans, and it says, "Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor serving the Lord." So I think we've all heard messages about how we treat others. If we haven't heard messages, we've heard from our parents, we've heard from others on how it's important how we treat others. I just want to touch on a quick story talking about two historical figures. We're going to be talking about William Gladstone and Benjamin Disraeli. And they're leaders from 1800s Victorian era of the British Parliament. And I'm just going to read off some facts about these two men real quick so we have a better understanding of who they are and what they're about. So, William Gladstone was the Liberal Party leader. He personified the best qualities of the Victorian England. He was a career public servant and great speaker. He was a master of finance and had great morals. He was the Prime Minister of England 4 times. He was actually the only person in history to be Prime Minister 4 times. And under him, Britain established the national education system. They instituted parliamentary reform and saw the vote given to a significant number of people in the working class. So we say that William Gladstone did a lot of great things for England, subsequently the world. Now, Benjamin Disraeli. He entered politics and built a reputation as a diplomat and social reformer. His greatest accomplishment was masterminding the Britain purchase of the Suez Canal, which was very important for trade and helped England and again the world out a lot. So both of these men were very, very accomplished men, accomplished leaders, but they were also intense rivals in their time. There's a story about a young lady who interviewed both men. She sat down while they were running for office against each other and interviewed both of them. And she was asked, "Can you please describe the difference between William Gladstone and Benjamin Disraeli?" Because a lot of people didn't know. They just knew them as great leaders, and people were torn between the both of them of where to go. So when she was asked about this, she said a key quote that really gave amazing insight to both of these men. She said, "When I left the dining room after sitting down with Mr. Gladstone, I thought I thought he was the cleverest man in England. But after sitting next to Mr. Disraeli, I thought I was the cleverest woman in England." So that lady that sat down had dinner and interviewed both of them happened to be Jenny Jerome, who happens to be the mother of Winston Churchill, who was another great leader in England era. So the lesson that we can learn from that is great leaders and people, friends, are able to take the spotlight off of them and put it onto someone else. And that is so important when we are engaging in relationships, any kind of relationships with people, is being present. That is something that, although we all are aware of it, that not a lot of us are able to really learn it and master being present in the moment. Life is so crazy, especially this year, what's been going on this year with COVID and so many things going on in social America alone, or says the world, that our minds get flooded with so many different things, and rightfully so. Life isn't easy, but this year has been very intense and hard. So being present where you are at the moment isn't the easiest thing to do and to master. But when you're learning to build a relationship dealing with people, the most important thing is being present. And when you're present, is learning how not to take everything and make it about ourselves, but put it on other people. How do we do that? We do that by listening. And we all heard the difference between hearing and listening. It's very important to listen so we can respond in a way that is empathetic and caring in order to help people. And being able to listen and do that will help put the spotlight on other people. Asking questions. The only way you can ask sensible and relatable questions is by listening and by being present. So, see, the thing is that doing that, taking the spotlight off ourselves and putting it on others, is a guaranteed method no matter who you are. Because a lot of times we think when we hear the word being a leader, we think of people who have high positions in businesses, in church. A lot of people probably think of just people who are on staff of a church are leaders. But the truth is, we are all leaders in some form, some way. If you're a parent, obviously, that's the biggest thing. You are one of the most important leaders there are. And even if you're not a parent, if you have a job, you're a leader because people are always, always watching and seeing what you're doing. And if you're a student, you're a leader because where you are, and the most important thing is showing how Christ is in us. And that's even more so how we're supposed to lead with integrity and dignity. And so being a leader is very important, and for us to be effective and great leaders is important for us to listen and be present. You see, that's why in Romans 12, Paul is encouraging all the Romans to give honor and preference to one another. Honoring your brother and your sister is goes hand in hand with being a great leader and being present and listening to others. Those things work together. So the most important thing about how we treat others and learning how to treat others in a way that is caring and with dignity and with empathy is being present. Being present, learning how to shut things down and say, I'm going to sit down and give preference to my brother and my sister that I am with in order to help them get through whatever they're going through. And treating others, that golden rule, treat others as you would like to be treated yourself. If we take the time to really think about that and put that in play, we'll see so many things move forward in a more positive way. And it's easy to forget that because a lot of times we're in a situation and again, so many things are thrown at us. But think for a second, if I was on the other end, and I'm talking to this person, how would I want them to receive what I'm saying? It's by showing empathy and being present. So let me just encourage you to be present and listen to one another, and treating each other with empathy is very important, giving preference to one another, as Paul said to the Romans in Romans 12. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a blessed week and hope to see you soon. Thank you.